Yeah, this is a longer video I decided to make. And, I'm sitting here checking out this new sock I bought because I have a constant pain here. And it isn't constant day and night, but just too much. It's too noticeable. And this was caused by a vicious assault by a gangland style group of cops. And, I'm moving out of East Tennessee. If I get any money to where I could competently defend myself staying here, I would. And it don't take much money, but they've got me locked into a vicious cycle that they like to stalk people with and victimize them with. And it's a big poverty pimp game. They get all the local cretins that are already under their wing through corruption and past crime and even you know favoritism. You look the other way and they're going to do the same, and they know you're with them solid. And they use drug addicts and all sorts of shitheads in society and people that just want to earn that favoritism, affirmative action. You're going to be corrupt, and we know you're with us, so we do a lot for you. And anyone you victimize or pull down to a degree so we can make them more controllable, that's just more chits you earn and work your way through the ranks. That's our society, folks. And it's everywhere. It's just not in East Tennessee. Or the state of Tennessee. It's any state, and it's everywhere. There is no state that's different. And I don't believe any of these paupers they send around to say, oh, well, this state's different, and I'm from there, and it's great there. That's just another pauper they shuffle around everywhere to spread misinformation and to infiltrate and thoroughly filter throughout society. You got all sorts of pentagramming going on. It's a it's a fire. It's an endless firestorm, and when I say fire, I'm not talking about a fire. I'm talking about like them firing uh, people throughout society. Like a bullet, and they move in their paths and their lines, and you encounter so many of them each day, and every one of them has their own agendas. And if you're impoverished, if you've been poverty pimped, you're pretty much helpless. And they'll rally all sorts of elements against you every day in society. I've been here too long. I was told about 5 years ago that I met a guy briefly, and he was sent around to sort of caution me, and I just shrugged it off like, oh, well, here's a guy that walks around and warning people because of this or that. And I was like, well, there's nothing really I could do, I said to myself, because I try my hardest anyway to get ahead. And if they're blocking me from succeeding in those daily increments that I used in the past years, like I noticed they do, what good is it for me to worry about all this shit? I work hard, sweat all day, try my plays and make my moves, and you see all those things evaporate before your eyes, those opportunities. And then I'm talking about just the bottom of the barrel shit, trying to eke a living out, trying to be creative and do things. And then you got all these other people, and they get that shit give to them because they see you're trying that. And it's amazing how everything works. And it's just terrible. And I can sit here and complain, but I'm not really complaining. I'm just articulating how I'm feeling and what my plans are. I want to get out of East Tennessee. These people have some nefarious plans for me, and they've already deployed a bunch of them. And I thought I was earning an accreditation through the local community by being a polite, respectable person all these years, and I figured I believed a lot of misinformation. I'm still picking through misinformation, but you move to this area, and oh, it's a hard sweat labor area, and if you work hard and they see you sweat and you're trying hard and earnest, you might earn something amongst the community, and that's just a lie. It never happens. That's just more misinformation. But you figure all these years you're trying to do the right thing, you'd build up some protection. And that never happened. There is no protection against these scoundrels. The only protection I have that I can see is to grab whatever money I can and haul ass to a fresh new start with the accomplishments that I've already made. And I'm just not going to sit here helpless and think that bending over, which is what they want to begin with, is going to appease these people. That just is not the case. The more you bend over for them, the harder they're going to drive it into you that you're going to have to settle for less and less, and until they get you institutionalized into their final destination they had planned for you to begin with, which is incarcerated in their dungeons, or homeless so they can just really run over you. And I'm not going to go for that. You know, I've worked dedicatedly years, not on any certain guarantee, but out of the hard efforts that I knew I can improve myself with. You know, better engineering, better building, better things to impress people that I have something of worth that they might be interested in. And I have reached that point of success to where I know I have things that are worth a tangible amount. A great deal so. But these same underlying forces double down, triple down, and circle back around with these same people to put an affront out that what you have done really was worthless and you have failed. That is not true. That is their same MO that they get by with all over every incident. They want to make it appear like you are a worthless nothing. And they will send their thugs around and their government forces around and force upon you tyranny. Because they're floating a front about you saying that you are worthless and you are nothing. And you're a bad element in their community. That is what they get by with every instant. And that's how they drive everybody down that they want to be driven down. Now, on the other side of the coin, they got affirmative action, and they can take the lowest, sorriest sons of bitches in society, pay them exorbitant amounts of money, and then say they deserve it because they are needed in our society. They are the greatest thing that we have around, and yet you are nothing, so you can't even complain about them. You have no affront to them. You have no strength or protection from them, whether it's the dope addicts, the terroristic cops, the terroristic lawyers, the terroristic business people that control the rest of your local communities. They will sit there and cast down who they want to ostracize in these communities, and they get by with it over and over and over again. And then you look when they do their bad things for you and say, well, where's that great American media whore? Because what has happened to you is so outrageous. They will create false victimhoods amongst themselves and hold those people out in public and say, well, look, this guy's been done wrong. And our system works because, look, he's in the media, he's in the news, and he's got a lawyer. He's got the six-figure lawyer because we've did him wrong. But I tell you what, folks, that is a dirty ploy. And they figure if they want to broadcast victimization, they control the victimization. They control the imposed image of the false information that there is a victim, and they are making corrections because he's a victim. Those people aren't the real victims. Those are the crisis actors that are in everything. This society farms and creates everything. And the rest of the real victims, well, most of them aren't victims neither. They're bona fide miscreants that have fell through so many rungs of the system so many times repeatedly, and with the funneling of the government while doing so, that they know that they're just never going to, they don't have no legitimacy. They don't have no expectations of anything. But then they do it to people like me who are not fell through society so many times that I'm just the scoundrel scum that they want to pretend amongst themselves that I am. So I've been victimized multiple times throughout life, and it's by the same elements. And at some point, I just don't give a shit. I don't mind telling you all about it. But I don't expect the great American media whore to say anything on my behalf, neither. My only hope is to get enough wealth to stand my ground. That's it. And not be victimized. So what they will do then is just circumvent me. I want them to circumvent around my life and go on about their ways. But they ain't going to do that until I get wealth. And until then, they will continue to predate on me as subtly and slick as just a minor interaction with strangers that just want to browbeat a guy down. And they do it every day. It's pretty shitty. We live in a very shitty society. And they keep it shitty because that way they can easily control everything without much effort. Yep, they don't like having to dedicate much effort in an individual, no matter the cause. And they've got armies of all sorts of scumbags to subdue the individual, the criminals, the legitimate government people, or just the local religious communities. They get together and they pull out their Bibles and say, "Now, are you this and that? And have you been good? And praise this and praise that." And you know what? Behind the scenes, most of those people are the same criminals, just painted a different shade. Just like the government, they're mostly criminals. They're just painted a different shade, and they're given their awards and their high pay. And the criminals, the successful criminals, they're the same. They get their high praise and they get their notorieties that they've donated this or they're doing that, and they're just great members of our community and pillars. But really, it's all the same cabal melded together, amalgam into criminality and tyranny. And then, it's the same with the "don't tread on me." Well, they don't want you treading on them while they're treading on you, because then you're going to make a spectacle of it. And, you're just not a patriot like they are. Why don't you move to China or England or South America? You're not American. Why don't you get the hell out of here? That's all bullshit. These people have been thugging this country for a long time. And, it's just a piece of shit situation, that's all. And there's nothing that great or special here besides that, I myself have been provided enough silent time and time for me to cobble together a few successful creations that I can stand behind, and I do. More so, I can twist these innovations to fit the narrative that this same overlord system has been trumping about our own damn nation of polluting and killing the environment. And are you being environmentally friendly or conscious? And like with my shopping bag holders, it is disgusting that I haven't had anybody say, we've been needing something like this for our environment's sake, because you're recycling plastic and repurposing it. Not one of these shitheels have said a peep about it. Or the cart of America. They see me push this cart for months. And I had a few people say, "Yeah, it's a cool cart, whatever. You got something neat, wow." But most of them are bitter. They're bitterly silent and just sit back and see that you've done something, and they're damn sure not gonna praise me for it. But it's my job to push forth the fact that these are very tangible goods. And I need to hammer on the business aspect of these products because that's going to give me the money to protect me from the tyranny. And that's the simple cycle of it. I need to succeed in getting investors' attention on my products, and yet all these local forces and 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 beyond have constrained my efforts. They have censored me from being successful in an outreach. Even on GoFundMe, I have I have I have put together two GoFundMe drives that should have got some attention, but it's a big money grift. It's a sink, and I'm not cut of the cloth of the same grifters that they are. Therefore, they can ignore me. I'm not within the government, and I'm nobody important. And I'm not some rich guy's second cousin on one side of the family or any of that. So they just censure me and ignore me. They nullify my efforts over and over again. These fantastic animal videos I made, they're spectacular. I have lost all my audience. Now all I have is token local stalkers. They have burned down my efforts for a positive outreach beyond the local community. And there is no freedom. I can't get seen beyond the local community. A handful of these scoundrels who are sitting back in their selective government jobs of censorship and repeatedly blockade my efforts. That's exactly what they're doing. They're repeatedly, just with a push of a button, terminating my efforts before they even get a chance to be seen by any viral crowd. And there it is. This is Jason Faulkner from East Tennessee. I know I could do a lot better bitching and moaning about all this, but this is a spur of the moment effort. I'm going to fly this out there to see what happens. It's going to get low views, and maybe a few snide comments from the local stalkers, the assholes in the sheriff's offices, 5 counties around, whom I don't even know, who don't really know me. They just have a data sheet or a slick algorithm built into this that stalks individual people, and I just happen to be on the blacklist. Jason Faulkner, aka Shop Weasel, from East Tennessee. I am selling my acre. I will take $20,000 for it just so I can get the hell out of here. There ain't nothing here holding me back. The day my father died, the funeral company and the undertaker in Morristown, Tennessee, I don't know whose ashes they gave me back, but I can't soundly, with my conscience, consider it to be my father's. Because the way they acted and the open criminality that they want to espouse on people when they know they're alone in the world now, even your own family has a twisted hand in it. It sure is a shitty thing. Wonder whose ashes they really gave me. I don't think it was my dad's. Yeah, lots of bad shit around. But that's anywhere. I'm not condemning this state, even though it's ran about as hayseeded as any state could be, by a bunch of tyrants that enjoy a privilege of untouchableness. Yep. And, I hope they stay in power. This society sort of deserves the monster it created. Lay in your own bed, I say. I'm just bitching and moaning to see if I can get some attention. Let's see if it works. I'm going to upload this now. By the way, I am selling all of Shop Weasel's products for $1 million flat out. And I mean walk away with $1 million, not you give me $1 million, then all your buddies in the government comes and picks on my ass until I'm left with $100,000 that they can shuck away from me in a year. No, I'm talking about $1 million where I walk away. And if you have a bunch of flunkies in the government that wants their money, you can pay them. I don't have nothing for them. Thank you for your time, Jason Faulkner.